Okay, 6, 7 accelerated math educators. It's really important this year especially that we use pre-assessment to form small groups and scaffold instruction to grade level proficiency. That means we need to know what our students need to know in order to be successful on today's lesson. What are those prerequisite skills that if the students don't understand and are not able to do, there will be a barrier to learning today's content? What are those prerequisite skills that if the students have mastered, can demonstrate understanding, they will be set up for success for today's learning experience? Then, once we know what those prerequisite skills are, how might we determine what they know? How might we determine if the students have those prerequisite skills? These pre-assessments are going to be informal, possibly observable, and very, very purposeful, because we're going to take the data from those pre-assessments and form small groups. How might we more accurately tailor instruction to the readiness of our students? We will use small groups to provide intentional scaffolding from where the students are to grade level proficiency. Our goal is that every student attain grade level proficiency for today's lesson, possibly beyond. When you create those small groups, consider this. We're going to use small group settings for instruction when our pre-assessment data shows any amount of time spent speaking to the whole group will most likely only impact a small portion of students. We want to lower that ratio and focus and target our instruction very intentionally. If you wonder about group size, well, that might vary, and our groups will not be static. They will be dynamic and they will adjust as we pre-assess and determine the student's academic readiness for the next lesson. The number of small groups you meet with each day may vary, and how much time you spend with each small group may vary, but focus that content and be very intentional about what you do with the students. Now, when the students aren't with you and you're meeting with a different small group, assign collaborative or independent tasks. Design those activities to truly enrich student understanding. Incorporate self-checking. You can do hands-on, practice, digital tools, use resources that we have in the district, and consider very intentional things for the students to be doing when they aren't with you. Create a system to communicate with the students about when and how they'll meet with you and what they'll do when they're not with you. This intentionality is really important. Back in your Unit 1 curriculum document, if you scroll past Stage 1 into Stage 2, you'll see examples of those prerequisite skills and pre-assessments to consider using with your students. Like, it's important that they're able to compare and order positive rational numbers before we start classifying them and comparing and ordering all rational numbers. So you might say, I want you to place these numbers on a number line, and I'm going to watch where you put them, and you're going to consider the order and the scale of how they're placed on the number line. You may give the kids a coordinate grid and ask them to graph these points in the first quadrant, because we're going to move into graphing in all 4 quadrants in this unit, but I need to know if they're able to graph ordered pairs of positive rational numbers first. It's really important this year to consider those prerequisite skills and efficiently pre-assess them so that we can target our instruction accordingly.